On today's episode of Phinside The NFL, have the Miami Dolphins found their blueprint to success moving forward? We'll dive into some film and show you why they just may have. Plus, great article about from Marcel Louis-Jacques about why the Miami Dolphins offense is floundering without Tua. Plus, it seems OBJ and Tua are trying to get on the same page chemistry wise, and CBS, they keep pushing a quarterback trade for a specific quarterback that the Miami Dolphins should make, and I will finally address it. Do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's get into this.
Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score! Field down the near side, man open. Touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. He's got it for a touchdown again.
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go! What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. Appreciate all of you coming in on this Tuesday. We got a lot to talk about with some Dolphin stuff, break down a little bit of film, but besides that, how about those Jets, huh? Robert Saleh is officially unemployed as he was fired this morning by the New York Jets. I mean, where I personally stand with this is you can never have enough defensive consultants, and McDaniel and Saleh have a relationship. Come on down, brother. Come on down. I mean, if Anthony Weaver is going to be a one and done, like people were speculating last offseason, the offseason that just passed, that he could be one and done to get a head coaching job, there could be your defensive coordinator coming in to work with Mike McDaniel if he's still around. So, and they have promoted Jeff Ulbrich to head coach. Now, the word coming out is that Aaron Rodgers didn't have a big say in it, blah, blah, blah. But I've read a report from an insider that I trust. He's not well known, but he gets a lot of New York stuff right because he's based out of New York. He came out with a report today. Incarcerated Bob is his name is on Twitter. He does all New York sports, and he said that yesterday there was a phone call between Woody Johnson, Jeff Ulbrich, and an unidentified Jets player, and that's what the decision was made. So, I don't believe this media speculation that Aaron Rodgers had nothing to do with this firing. I believe that's just pure PR from his team. I mean, we all saw a couple weeks ago the push on the sideline where he kind of shoved Robert Saleh off of him. And the rumbling was Robert Saleh was apparently going to get rid of Nathaniel Hackett. Now, Aaron Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett are buddies. So I'm wondering if Aaron Rodgers made the move first before Nathaniel Hackett could have the axe come down on him. Because now Nathaniel Hackett, his job is safe. So, I don't know. Interesting development. I mean, they're looking for a shot in the arm against the Buffalo Bills, I guess. I would sit here and say that they probably won't get it, but this is a team historically, even when Zach Wilson was the quarterback and struggling, they could still beat the Buffalo Bills. So you never know. I'm not going to sit here and say they can't beat the Buffalo Bills because anything's possible. But, I'm just saying. So, I mean, interesting. And then sticking with the AFC East, it seems like after the Week 5 loss, Jacoby Brissett has been officially benched, and Drake Maye will be starting moving forward for the New England Patriots. So when we face the New England Patriots for a second time this season, it looks like, barring injury, we will have, to either guy, we will have Tua Tagovailoa versus Drake Maye the next time these two teams face. Everyone knows Drake Maye and Jaden Daniels were my man crushes of this quarterback draft class. Jaden Daniels is absolute balling right now. He looks like he's going to be Rookie of the Year. I'll go on record and say Jaden Daniels looks more impressive than CJ Stroud did in his rookie year. Jaden Daniels is that dude right now. And they need to go, the Washington Commanders need to get that logo, that uniform right, even if it takes a name change, because Jaden Daniels is about to lift them into consistent relevancy. It really, you know what it feels like? It feels like when RG3 was there. Before RG3 got hurt, and then after he got hurt, decided he didn't want to be a pocket passer and wanted to continue to create out of structure. And Shanahan warned him it's not going to work, but he stuck with it anyways. You know, the same type of buzz, the same type of feeling, like those Washington Commanders are for real, and Jaden Daniels is for real right now. You know, Babadook says we're the crappiest division in the NFL right now, which is crazy. Crazy right now, if you actually think about it. Right? Like, you know, everyone expected the Jets to be a Super Bowl contender, not me. I was calling BS on it all offseason. Everyone expected us to be much better than we are, and everyone really expected the Bills to be much better than they are. You know, there was everyone thought there was a potential for like two teams with 12 or more wins in the AFC East. And Hog Wild Fishing says, "Hey, guess what? Reason what's up, Hog Wild? Let me know." Morning news. What's good? The Jets are still the Jets. Yeah, you got me there. The Jets are still the Jets. The Jets are always going to jet. And shout out to BetUS for powering this video. I forgot to mention that. Shout out to BetUS. I appreciate them for sponsoring the channel. Yeah, I would. I've already said Paulie King. I answered this. I would, defensive consultant if we're losing Anthony Weaver, if he gets a head coaching job like many predicted he would after 1 year. There is your replacement. And as far as, that's a good question. Devin White was released by the Eagles today. Man, he's better than Duke Riley. Devin White is a former Pro Bowler. He's way better. Just end the season, Jets. Devin White all day, I would take off, Clearly they don't trust Channing Tindall, right? David Long has already been banged up once this season. I would 110% be down to take a flyer on Devin White. You ain't even got to ask me twice. You know what's funny? Hog Wild, he says the Browns be the Browns and the Jets going to jet. The Browns moved off the guy. Baker Mayfield was always the guy for them. Right? As a rookie, didn't even play the full season, but still, before Herbert came along, he set the single season rookie passing touchdown record. Then Herbert broke it. Mayfield did the unthinkable, took the Browns to the playoffs. The problem was the Jarvis Landry and OBJ duo didn't work as well as they thought it would, like it did at LSU. They went in the wrong direction. They ran Baker out of town when he was the dude. That's your problem. The Cleveland Browns had the chance to be in a good position, but they made the wrong choice. And, it brings me back to all these Flores sympathizers. Oh, imagine what Flores would do with this roster and compare it to what McDaniel's record is, and they had similar records. Listen, first of all, the guy wouldn't have gone out and got Tyreek Hill. That's number one. Remember the whole takes no talent thing? Okay. Tyreek Hill would not be here. That's number one. Okay. And we've already learned that Tua elevates Tyreek Hill more than McDaniel or any other quarterback we've seen in McDaniel's tenure does. So that's put to rest. But number two, we'd be stuck with Deshaun Watson. People seem to be forgetting. All these Florida sympathizers seem to be forgetting. We'd be stuck with Deshaun Watson right now. And we'd be on the hook for that contract. You think it's bad with Tua? Listen. Does Tua have his durability issues like Stone Cold Steve Austin would say? Oh, hell yeah. But at least the kid can play. The kid led the league in passing last year and led the league in passer rating the year before that. Deshaun Watson is now, his best chance at leading the league in any category is most massages received by a player in a single season. Because he ain't leading in any statistic that's as a passer, that's for sure. And he ain't doing it anytime soon. So we'd be even worse shape. And all that guaranteed money, we have outs built in to get out of that Tua contract like right away. We would be stuck with all that money on the hook. Mudbone says Watson is soft. Well, that depends. Is it before, during, or after the massage session? But, that's where we're at. And that's what people, all these Flores sympathizers, if you want to go that full way of where he'd be at with Flores, we'd be up the creek with no paddle right now. Hey, brother, he can be your friend all you want. I'm just keeping it $150. And sure, you could make the argument that, does the West Coast offense and what they, what we'd run here and what they run in Cleveland even right now, does it fit Deshaun Watson's skill set the best? Probably not. But, I mean, I'm just saying. Well, we don't even got to get into the fact that this guy got outcoached by Urban Meyer, in the final minutes to lose a game to the Jags after, and then blowing it against the Falcons. We don't even got to get into that stuff. We'd be stuck with Deshaun Watson right now. Think about that nightmare. You think Tua's a nightmare for all of you anti-Tua people? Imagine that nightmare. Franklin Higgs says, reason college player to watch, Nick Nash from San Jose State, 25 years old, replacement for OBJ next year. You and Neil need to watch this kid seriously. I haven't had a chance to watch the wide receiver class very much, aside from a few guys. You know what I mean? I'm sure during the draft process, I will be, I will be checking them out. Right now, I've been watching a lot of O-linemen, from tackles to interior offensive linemen. Also, obviously, the quarterback class, just because I'm always, like I said, this weekend, Garrett Nussmeier, Jackson Dart, my two guys face off. Number 9, Ole Miss. Number 13, LSU. Because I'm making a lot of people around me quietly behind the scenes believers in Garrett Nussmeier, like big time right now. So, but I'll get around to the wide receivers. You know what I mean? Don't worry. I'll get around. I've watched a few guys already so far. So, like, I've watched Isaiah Bond, looks really good. Obviously, Egbuka, over the last couple of years, I've even been watching him just by being by proxy with the other players that have come through Ohio State. I've watched Luther Burden, Juice Wells, obviously. So I've watched a few guys already, but I'll continue watching, and I'll be on the lookout for Nick Nash. Appreciate you, sir, and appreciate the recommendation. Thank you very much. Devin White was released today. Would you go after him? Says Justin. Yeah, I already answered this. I would be totally down to add Devin White to this team right now. 110%. Given what, Duke Riley has been, as you'll see when we get into the tape a little bit, he's been poor on special teams. Duke Riley just isn't good right now. Oh, don't worry. I've watched Xavier Restropo. Don't worry. The U receiver, don't worry. I've watched him. I've watched a ton of Cam. So, Yeah, it's I haven't really taken it seriously yet though. So I mean, and then obviously Travis Hunter. I mean, he's both, right? He's a receiver and a corner. So I've actually watched a lot of wide receivers that now that I think of it, but still. Anyways, like I had mentioned, we're gonna get into this here, but like I had mentioned previously, in case you didn't know, this video, of course, it is sponsored by BetUS. You can head over to BetUS right now. They have all their props up. Right now, they have college football, NFL, everything going on right now. They've already got the props up for this weekend. The Dolphins are not playing, so this is going to be a weekend of fantasy football and making some money on football. So for the latter, for making money on football, go use betus.com. Use promo code YouTube150. That's YouTube150. And you will get a 150% deposit match on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Just use that promo code YouTube150. Some of the fastest payouts in the industry. Also 24/7 customer service. Go support the channel and go show some love to BetUS and shout out to them for supporting the channel. All right. Now, continuing on here, because we do have a lot to go over. Let's get into it. So here we are with a great article from Marcel Louis-Jacques, and it's pretty in-depth and it's pretty good about the Miami Dolphins offense, and it's called Why Miami's Dolphins Offense is Floundered Without Tua Tagovailoa. All right. So it's a pretty good article here. So I know it's behind a paywall for a lot of Americans, so it's not for me. So here you go. After snapping a 3-game losing streak with a 15-10 win over the New England Patriots on Sunday, Miami Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel made an interesting observation. The Dolphins, known for their leading offense in 2023, had become a defensive team. Such is the state of the Miami's offense 5 weeks into the season. After leading the NFL in yards last season, Miami is ranked 21st through 5 games this season, is averaging a league worst 12.3 points per game. My God. You know, what a polar opposite it was from last year, huh? Quarterback Tua Tagovailoa was placed on injured reserve on September 17th. After suffering the 3rd diagnosed concussion of his career, he is not eligible to return until Week 8. McDaniel said there haven't been any red flags with Tagovailoa in the 2 weeks since, but added that he won't fully progress through the protocol until after his IR stint is over. Miami turned to Skylar Thompson following Tagovailoa's injury, and then to Tyler Huntley, who the team signed off the Baltimore Ravens practice squad when Thompson was knocked out of his first start against the Seattle Seahawks. Neither has been able to jumpstart an offense that was supposed to be among the league's best this season. Here's how the Dolphins' 180 from a dominant 2023 season came to be. Thompson beat out Mike White as the number 2 quarterback this summer, and both players had been with the team for multiple seasons. With Thompson, Miami believed it had a quarterback who possessed command of McDaniel's offense and whose teammates positively responded to him whenever he was in the huddle. Ultimately, McDaniel said the decision on Thompson when he entered the team's final preseason game this year. I saw teammates believe in him, and I saw teammates get off the bench during the drive and start getting close to the white, McDaniel said. Those are all the things that, for me, is what I'm evaluating, because just going back to what is the actual job of your backup, and I thought it was a cool moment. While McDaniel said Thompson had developed greatly since his rookie season in 2022, the results were poor in his start against the Seahawks. He completed 13 of 19 passes for 107 yards and a 6.1 QBR in the loss to Seattle. It's reasonable to criticize the Dolphins for not having a more experienced veteran, but the team was also responsible in having higher expectations for the player entering his 3rd year in the system. Thompson won his 2nd career start in 2022, a win or go home contest against the New York Jets in Miami's regular season finale. He was also serviceable in the Dolphins' loss to the Buffalo Bills the following week in the AFC wildcard round. His numbers weren't pretty. 18 of 45 for 220 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. But the Dolphins lost a playoff game in Buffalo by 3 points with a 7th-round rookie at quarterback. It was enough to inspire optimism moving forward, even if he spent all 19 games in 2023 as a healthy scratch on game day. He has ran our plays and walkthrough setting probably more than anybody on our team, McDaniel said on September 19th. He's done that for a calendar year incessantly, and the results are there is a broader chest in the huddle. McDaniel also said that the practice squad quarterback Tim Boyle's personality made him a good fit for the room based on what he had heard from mutual acquaintances. Now, in light of recent examples of teams having success with backup QBs like Matt LaFleur with Malik Willis in Green Bay, why is the Dolphins offense struggled so much with Tua out? The Dolphins offense has been struggling long before Tua's injury. In 11 games since hanging 45 points on the Washington Commanders in Week 13 of last season, the Dolphins offense has scored 30 points once. They scored fewer than 20 points 7 times in that span. I mean, it's not good, right? Like, we can hear this. They've scored fewer than 20 points 7 times in that span. Miami were without receivers Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill in 4 of their final 5 games last season due to various injuries, highlighting a need for a third receiving option. The Dolphins signed OBJ and Jonnu Smith to fill that void, but their integration had not materialized before Tagovailoa's injury. Beckham started the season on physically unable to perform list after offseason knee surgery, while Smith and Tagovailoa had played just a game and a half together, with minimal preseason snaps. Thus, one of the Dolphins' largest issues on offense was exasperated by breaking in multiple quarterbacks in a 3-week span. Before the win over the Patriots, the Dolphins also weren't getting much out of their run game. Since Week 3, Miami's minus .30 average rushing yards over expectation ranks 24th in the NFL. It also ranks 17th in average yards before contact at 2.35, but last in average yards after contact at 0.65. Statistically speaking, Miami's offensive line has been average in terms of creating lanes, but its running backs haven't been able to shed tackles. Miami has the most expensive wide receiver corps in the league. What responsibility does it and Miami's other playmakers shoulder for the offense's poor performances? Hill and Waddle are each on pace to finish the season with fewer than 1,000 receiving yards, which would mark the first time this tandem has done so in a Dolphins uniform. While some of their production can be attributed to instability at quarterback, Waddle said Miami's playmakers have to do their part in helping whichever quarterback is in the game. McDaniel said the responsibility for the Dolphins offense doesn't fall on one player, especially in adverse situations. There's that word again. When you have injuries, when you have adjustments in the lineup, people have to step up, he said. If they're executing their jobs at 90% generally, it needs to be 95 to 98%, and we're not getting that right now. So bottom line is that it's definitely not one person, and there's a lot of things that are going on in the pass game that have to do with the line of scrimmage. A lot of things on the line of scrimmage have to do with receivers and the eligibles getting open in the timing of the play. So collectively, we just need to do a much better job. According to Next Gen Stats, the Dolphins pass catchers have been open on 54.5% of their routes this season, but they're minus 151 receiving yards over expectation is the 4th worst in the NFL. This suggests a lack of chemistry with their quarterback, which is also to be expected considering Huntley's experience in this offense. Hill said the onus is on Miami's receivers to make plays happen once they get the ball in their hands. Whenever it's time to make a play, just make a play within a play. Don't go outside the techniques and fundamentals that have already been taught, Hill said. It doesn't mean go outside of what you're doing or run the wrong route because it throws off a lot of quarterback timing. If you run a slant route, catch the slant route and do a little bit extra. Get jiggy with it, take it to the house. That means you've got to give a little bit more effort to get open, not just get the catch and just get the first down. How about let's extend that, take it 70 yards or take it 50 yards. That's 95% to me. What's the plan for the offense going forward? Will Miami look to make additional moves at quarterback? For now, the plan is to continue with Huntley as the team starter. McDaniel said Dolphins' upcoming bye week will be critical for Huntley's acclimation to the offense. It's huge, McDaniel said after the Patriots game. You're playing catch-up the whole time that you're playing football, and you knowing your responsibilities and knowing what the pass concepts are, and now you have a chance to really study the strengths and weaknesses of certain things. You have to orchestrate a lot of moving parts, and I thought he did a good job handling all that. He has done a phenomenal job, really, since he's been here, but it was a step forward today for sure. With Sunday's win over the Patriots, Miami has a chance to claw its way back to 500 if they can beat the Colts in Week 7. Far from the worst-case scenario it could have faced in Tagovailoa's absence. There's still no word as to when Tua Tagovailoa will return, if at all, but his stay on injured reserve will last until at least Week 8. McDaniel said on Monday that Tagovailoa would continue to meet with specialists during the Dolphins' bye week. Now, how reasonable is it to change large parts of the offensive scheme? McDaniel knows what it's like to change an offense for a player. He was an offensive assistant for a Washington team that had to recreate his playbook for Robert Griffin III in 2012. But that's not something he feels is necessary for the Dolphins without Tagovailoa. McDaniel said the framework of Miami's offense allows for wrinkles based on personnel, but he doesn't believe the team is executing well enough to stay with conviction that the quarterback is incapable of running it. It just feels like an offense that's not good enough generally, and whether that's coaching or playing, we're all in it together, he said. It's a bottom line business. I think there's strengths and weaknesses that everybody provides. Half the time you could say the plays don't matter, what I call, until we have 11 people executing something in one direction. I think there's perfectly capable players to do the things that we're asking them to do going into the game. Even during the bye week, don't expect widespread changes to the Dolphins' offense playbook. Instead, they want Huntley to use the time to expand his command of the offense. So, I mean, we're going to talk about this when we get into the film of the blueprint that they've kind of laid out in this last game. I will say this. Yes, there was motion, but there wasn't as many plays with 2 or 3 motions built into them as there had been in previous weeks. So, yeah, we were still motion, but it did not feel as motion heavy as the past couple weeks, but there still was definitely pre-snap movement. So it felt like when you watch the film this week, it felt like McDaniel did put Huntley in a better position to be successful this week. From the play calling to the motions, all the way to running the football, right? So it did really feel like that. Now, obviously this offense has been floundering because they don't have the player that executes it the best from the pocket, right? I think Huntley will get, we saw and I think it was because McDaniel made things a lot easier. Now I will say this, and you see it with Huntley's first interception. When you watch the all-22, a lot of it was first read stuff. Like all these people that want to claim Tua as a one-read quarterback, go watch the Huntley film from this week. They were getting guys open on that first read, and there were also times where he had to make anticipatory throws where he would bail off his spot instead of standing firm in the pocket, anticipating and delivering. Because again, anticipation is not a strength to Huntley's game. But, a lot of stuff you did see was first read execution. Shout out to Ryder McConville in the chat. Go show him some love. Go support his channel. He does great film breakdowns. So, when McDaniel did make it easier with with less movement, a lot of the first reads were getting open for him. So, and he was delivering it, you still got to deliver the football even if they get open. So, but it did look like a lot easier, and he looked far less he didn't look as overwhelmed as he did in his first start. Really, he didn't look overwhelmed at all. He looked pretty comfortable for the most part. A couple throws he would want back, but still, Now, CBS, they've been pushing this. They first brought this up on September 14th when Tua went down. They're bringing it up again, and I don't see it. So what they're saying is they've got one, because remember the trade deadline is at the end of this, it's coming up, right? And we're only about, what, 4 weeks away? So they had an NFL trade deadline, one deal each team should make. For the Miami Dolphins, they think we should acquire Trey Lance. Tua Tagovailoa may return, but it feels irresponsible to trust to stay upright and are safe. Coach McDaniels with the San Francisco 49ers when a dynamic but unpolished Lance was drafted highly. I mean, why? Just get Huntley acclimated to this offense and make him the backup. Why would we bring in an unpolished, young, still raw kid and then try to conform him to this offense? Why? Because McDaniel was one of the loud voices in that building wanting to draft Trey Lance? No thanks. We will stick with Tyler Huntley. All right? We will continue to let Tyler Huntley develop. And if Tua comes back and Tua gets hurt, that just means Huntley's got far more time in between now and then to get better in this offense and build chemistry with the personnel in this offense. So, the Dolphins don't need to go out and acquire Trey Lance. I would acquire Bryce. If you're trying to acquire a young, somewhat broken quarterback, go get Bryce Young. If you want a guy you got to fix, go get Bryce Young. Much better passer right now at this stage of his career. Bryce Young looked kind of comfortable when he came in. Shout out to Jennifer Ford, but she was loving it because Jalen Coker was making plays. But Bryce Young came in this past weekend, and he looked better than he had, obviously because there was no pressure. But, I don't know. And what's crazy is the guy who wrote that article, Cody Benjamin, he's the same guy who wrote the article last month that the Miami Dolphins should be chasing down Trey Lance. So I don't think so. The Miami Dolphins plan to get OBJ to Tua Tagovailoa on same page, and that has already begun. This is from Adam Beasley here. And Odell Beckham Jr.'s Miami Dolphins debut was a quiet one. Snoop Huntley targeted Beckham twice in Sunday's win over the New England Patriots, but misfired on both attempts, including one that resulted in an interception. But as Beckham and Huntley work to get back on the same page, there's a second goal for the Dolphins wide receiver 3. Build chemistry with Tua Tagovailoa, who could return to practice in 15 days after a long recovery from his 4th diagnosed concussion. Beckham has yet to practice with Tagovailoa because Beckham was hurt all summer, and then when he finally came off PUP, Tua was on IR. But Beckham said he and Tagovailoa have thrown on their own and have been comfortable doing so. Quote, the ball is put where the ball is put, Beckham said. My job is to catch it. I've known Snoop for a whole year and a half. Before signing, I was kind of worried about coming to play with the lefty. It was something I always joked about not doing in my career. It's definitely different, he continued. It's a different spin. It comes at you a different way at times. But as I've thrown with him, he throws the ball so nice that it doesn't really feel like you're catching from a lefty. For me, I have the utmost confidence in my hands. I remember dropping one pass last year. I don't really feel like a ball is just going to get past my hands. Where my mind is at, where my body's at, I've got way too much confidence in my hands. Beckham said he's a little sore after a week of practice and 11 snaps on Sunday, but he expects to get back into football shape into the coming weeks. When he does, the Dolphins offense can really take off. Tagovailoa aside, they're in pretty good health on that side of the ball. Just being able to get back out there was fun, Beckham said. Not as many snaps as I thought were going to happen. Just kind of the way that practice went. But it was really a point in the season where we were 1-3. Like we needed to do whatever it was to win the game. Just being able to run the ball the way we did. To be able to stay resilient and find a way to win. That's the only thing that really mattered going into the bye week. So OBJ and Tua building chemistry between each other off the practice field, working together. I know OBJ's put in some work with Perform. And Scotty says, get back in football shape in a couple weeks. What have you been doing? Well, the difference is, right, you can practice all you want, but when, it's a totally different ballgame when you start taking live reps. So I get what he's saying, right? Just getting reacclimated to that game speed and just getting comfortable with where he's at to the comparative to the NFL game. It's going to take a couple weeks. You know, he didn't have OTAs. He didn't have a preseason at all. He didn't have training camp. So, you know, I get what he's saying. You know, he'll get caught up. And hopefully by the time he gets in that game speed, Tua is back and we can really start rolling. We can really start rolling then. All right. Here we go. I want to get into this and the blueprint for the Miami Dolphins and what they've set up for themselves over the last 72 hours now, because what they did on Sunday. So I really think they laid the blueprint out for future success moving forward. So let's get into that. Because we got about 22 plays to go over here. All right. So let's get into this for all of you. So this is Miami's first drive here. All right. And this is 4 plays into the Dolphins' opening drive to start the game. All right. It's 1st and 10 from the Patriots 42. Huntley's in the gun, empty backfield. 1 receiver split to the left and trips bunch to the right. 12 personnel is what you are going to see here. Because you see there's the motion into the trips bunch right there. So New England, they're going to show cover 1, but they'll rotate the safeties at the top. That's their shift. Aqule is lined up as the 4-eye on Jackson's inside shoulder right here. And Jackson, watch him. He's going to take on Anthony Jennings while Eichenberg is going to overset to the right. And the A-gap is going to open up for Aqule, I think his name is. No, Equale, that's his name. So, and the A-gap opens for Equale, who fits through. Watch Liam's effort. Liam uses one arm. What does Liam think he's going to do with that? And obviously, the sack comes here for Tyler Huntley. But let's watch it here. So watch this. So watch Jackson. He's initially going to take on Anthony Jennings. Liam Eichenberg is going to take on the 4-eye here, which is Aqale. And basically, Aqale is going to, chop Liam's one arm, and then he's going to get through with the quick swim. But look at what Jackson's going to do. Jackson, right here, 73, he's going to stop working inside for some reason. He's going to let Jennings through the B gap, and he's going to take on the safety. You got to work inside out here, brother. And this is just an overall brutal job from the right side. Look at Jackson. Look at starts in, but then first of all, Liam Eichenberg, come on. But look at Jackson. You work inside, brother. Shortest path to the quarterback. He goes off of it. What are you doing, Jackson? Both that right side is just brutal on that play. And it leads to a sack. Ugly. Dolphins would end up settling for a field goal to go up 3-0. They wouldn't dig themselves out of that 7-yard loss on that sack. So now this is the Patriots' first drive after the Miami field goal. It's 3rd and 6 after a 7-yard Gibson run and a Ogba sack that cost New England 3 yards. Brissett's in the gun. Gibson to his right. 3-by-1 receiver set. 11 personnel for New England. Dolphins are going to drop to Tampa 2 post snap. Watch Sealer. He's going to shift from the 0 tech to a 1 tech. And look at Sealer. He's going to win with power and a smooth rip move through the A gap. And Ogba's going to come through on the stunt. It's great penetration. Look, there's the rip. And right through and nails him. But you'll see it better here. Watch Sealer. Okay, Sealer shifts right there. But watch the move he's going to use to that gap, right? He's going to, for all of you who don't know, a rip move, it almost kind of looks like an undercut up under the offensive lineman's arm. Watch, he's going to use a strong rip move right through that A gap. Boom, look at that. And he's through, and he uses his power, technique, and Sealer continues his fantastic season. A 9-yard loss, New England has to punt. So the Dolphins now get the ball after the Patriots punt due to a Sealer sack. It's 2nd and 10 at the Miami 36 after they were forced to punt only to be bailed out by too many men on the field call against the Patriots defense. So Huntley's in the pistol with Wright, 1-by-3 receiver set, 11 personnel for Miami, cover 2 for New England. Watch Huntley. This is what I was talking about with Huntley. Huntley, you want to talk about a guy who's a one-read guy. Huntley is a one-read guy. All Christian Gonzalez has to do on this play is read his eyes. That's literally all he has to do. Because you're going to watch, Huntley is going to stare down his first read he intends to target, and he does it pretty regularly. So, McDaniel made things easy for him with a lot of quick open one-read looks, but on the plays that required going through progressions, he would either stare down the first read or bail instead of moving up, resetting, and rolling through progressions if there's traffic in and around the pocket. So watch him on this play. He's going to target OBJ at the top on that slant. He's staring him the whole way. And look at Gonzalez reads the eyes and just undercuts it. Right? Like, if you go back and you look here, watch his head. He undercuts it the whole time. Like, all he does is read his eyes. Watch Huntley's head from the snap. Okay? Look, he's already on OBJ. There's no receiver to that side. Everyone knows where you're looking, brother. And it just sticks, locks in. And he gets picked off. Got to make an effort with your head, brother. And he doesn't. He just locks in. And it's easy pick for Gonzalez. Easy play. For one of the top young corners in football right now. New England, they have the ball after the INT. It's 1st and 10 after a 6-yard pass to Bourne is followed by 2 straight Stevenson runs. Brissett is under center. Stevenson is the single back, 12 personnel with a 1-by-1 receiver set for the Patriots. It's cover 6, 2-4 for Miami. They'll shift to a cloud 1-3 look post snap. Stevenson, he's going to take the handoff and he's going to get the right edge with some blocking. And look at this. This is a crap show from our safeties. Okay, here you go. Ready. So, as you can see right now at the 25-yard line, Marcus Maye is taking the angle to shut it down. Ready? Whoop! Now, he misses. Now you got Holland over top. He's got the angle, right? Whoop! Come on, guys. I mean, you do the math here. Marcus Maye and Javon Holland, they had a you look at this. The first chance to shut him down is at, about the 23-yard line, but Maye whiffs on the tackle, as you see. Holland takes a horrible angle at the 16. I mean, this should not have ended up in the end zone. But look at that, though. I want to say this. Look at 95 right there. He's getting up off his knees right here. What an effort from Benito Jones. Watch Benito Jones here. Look at 95. That's a big man, and he's trying. Great effort. Now, it's a 33-yard touchdown. Would make it 7-3 New England after the extra point. But, yeah, I mean, good blocking up front. But look, you got to close that down. Then you got to close that down, and you miss both. Both safeties whiff. Come on, guys. So now the Dolphins, they get the ball back after the Patriots touchdown. It's 2nd and 6 after a 4-yard Mostert run. What I love here, this is what I love here. I love the play design, and I love the creativity here. I really do. I got to give them their props here. So you got Huntley in the gun. Mosert's motioning from the right boundary into the backfield right there beside Huntley right there, okay? 2 receivers stacked to the left, 1 to the right. It's 12 personnel for Miami. It's cover 1 for New England on here. Watch Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith is going to orbit motion right there, right? They're going to fake the give to Mostert and then the end around to Achane. And he comes through and he picks up around 12 yards. And if you watch in the front here, Brewer absolutely tosses his man. Austin Jackson, if he does a better job in space, Achane maybe one-on-one with the high safety. Now, this is also the play Achane would suffer a concussion on and not return. But, I mean, you look at Brewer, boom, pulls, and look at engages, and look at him toss his man, throw him off balance. But look at the man on his knees is Austin Jackson. And if you look at Austin Jackson, if Austin Jackson squares this man up and keeps him engaged, he might be like, because that's who ends up making the tackle at the ankle on Achane. If Jackson does his job, Achane's one-on-one with that safety. So now it's the next play. It's 1st and 10. Huntley, it's in the pistol with Moser. 1-by-1 receiver set. 12 personnel for Miami here. Tampa 2 for the Patriots. Mostert, he's going to motion out left. Jonnu, watch this. Jonnu is open on the stab over the middle right away. All right? Over the middle of the field. Look at the top. Tyreek's getting free released on the second level on his 9 route. You've got that honey hole, and it's a big hole. You've got that wide gap between the release and how high the safety is playing. That's an anticipatory throw. Or you got that over the middle. Now, instead, look at, and he's got time. What does he do? Look at Tyreek there. The stab route over the middle of the field to Jonnu is there. You got 2 routes that are big plays. Instead, he bails, buys time. Waddle sits at the top of his crosser stem. And good throw by Huntley, but he made it more difficult on himself. And he might have had the bigger play to Tyreek Hill if he just stayed firm in the pocket. This is what I talk about. Huntley is not an anticipatory thrower. He doesn't read a defense or process as quickly as Tua does. Look at that. Bang. Ball should be out. Look at that. You see the back pedal and the release. Ball should be out, like should have already been out. And he should be catching that ball at like the 39-40 right now. And you've got about 6 yards of clearance if he makes the catch around there with the safety over top. And it's a clean pocket, but he still bails. Nice throw, a nice play on the run. But, this shows a lack of processing and anticipation. 2 immediate options, but extended the play and he made the more difficult throw by letting the play develop instead of anticipating it. Still, great stuff, but it's easier to anticipate, you made that situation a lot more difficult than it really needed to be. That was the problem there. And that's what I'm pointing out with Huntley. You made that a little more difficult than it had to be. 2nd and 10 after Huntley threw an incompletion. Smythe's way after the big gain from Waddle. Huntley is in the pistol with Moser. It's 1-by-2 receiver set. Stacked to the right. 21 personnel for Miami. Ingold will motion to an H back. Cover 2 for New England. Watch Moser. He's going to hit the right side with solid bursts. And come on. Robert Jones actually doing a good job pulling. I had to give him his props. Look at Robert Jones. Look at this guy. Pulling and actually hitting his landmark and not whiffing on his assignment. I'm very impressed. Boom. And look at that lane. Really good job by the unit to create a nice wide lane for Moser collectively. 12-yard pickup. I had to show Robert Jones doing some good for as much bad as I've shown during the preseason. But look at that. Engages. Good stuff. There you go, Robert. See, I'll give you your flowers when you do good stuff. I'm not just here. I'm objective, man. It's just some players, they're either so good or so bad that people will think you're being subjective. So this is 2 plays later now after a 2-yard Moser run and an incompletion to Waddle. 3rd and 8, Huntley in the gun. Moser to his left. 1-by-3 receiver set. 11 personnel for Miami. New England drops to a cover 0 look post snap. And again, Huntley is going to have options with Jonnu on the hitch. If you're going to watch Waddle at the top of the screen, he's going to have a real big cushion on his out, as will Beckham at the bottom of the screen on his whipping up. But look at, again, Huntley moves off his spot. And look at, brother, look at. Again, if you can anticipate the Waddle route at the top with the cushion, that's open. But he's looking to the right side, right? So look at Beckham on this whip. He's getting a release. But also look at Jonnu's positioning on the middle of the field on his hitch route. And then, I mean, I don't even got to get in it. Tyreek is going to get covered because the safety is bailing over the top to come help. But, I mean, that whipping up, I mean, if you hit him on the whip, you got that. But again, bails, Josh Uche sacks him. Sanders would then miss a field goal from 41 yards out by hitting the upright. So the score would remain 7-1. But, yeah, a little indecisive from Huntley. Again, lack of processing and anticipatory skills on display from him as well. So this is the next drive, which the Patriots have the ball, 3rd and 5. Brissett's in the gun. Gibson to his left, 1-by-3 receiver set with a trips bunch set to the right. Miami there in cover 1 on this play. Watch Chop Robinson. Chop Robinson is coming off the edge at the top of your screen. Watch Chop. He's going to make himself skinny through the A gap because he's going to stunt from that side. And he's going to hit Brissett pretty hard to help force the big incompletion on a 3rd down as he was targeting Poke. Look at that. Right through. Look at that. Don't ever tell me a pressure don't matter. Don't ever tell me, oh, pressures don't matter. You need sacks. Brother, Poke was open. Look at the release at the 2nd level. Poke was there. But look at Chop. Hits him as he throws and forces the incompletion. Don't ever tell me pressures don't matter. Look at Chop get skinny through that hole. Boom. Ooh, yeah. Forces the incompletion. Forces the overthrow. Good stuff. So now, this is Miami's following drive after Chop just forced that pressure that led to the 3rd down completion, which went nowhere. So it's 4th and 11. The punt unit is out. Okay, look at, not at the top of the screen because that's Malik Washington, but look at in the backfield of that punt unit. See the guy with the orange at the top of that formation with the orange shoes in the backfield? That's Duke Riley. Watch Duke Riley. He's going to let Schooler just beat him with a speed rush off that right edge. And look at Schooler. He's going to quickly get his left hand out with his back to the punter, and he's going to block it. Watch the effort from Duke Riley. Come on. Come on, Duke. Got to be better than that. It's just a terrible effort and job by Duke Riley here. This is all on Duke Riley. Watch him again. Look at how slow he is into his back pedal. He's just a dead man walking, and look at that. Just lets himself get arced around the edge pretty quick. So, not that impressive from Duke Riley. At all. At all. So, New England would miss the field goal after blocking the punt. Miami has the ball in the 5th play of their drive following the Patriots' missed field goal. Huntley is in the pistol with Wright. Are you ready now? Here, we're going to start seeing the blueprint. 1 receiver split to the left, 2 stacked to the right, 21 personnel from Miami. It's cover 6, 2-4 for New England, but they'll drop to more of a cloud 1-3 look. Watch Huntley. Watch Huntley. Huntley is going to fake the handoff. Tyreek is going to be at the top of your screen. He is gone on the streak route. But Huntley, again, is going to prematurely move off of his spot instead of making the read and staying firm in the pocket to make the throw. Now, look at, fakes it. Watch, look at. Tyreek is gone. There is no safety over the top, people. Tyreek is gone. Why are you bailing? Set your feet and make the throw, Huntley. Look at this. This guy's like, this is what I'm talking about with him prematurely bailing and not setting his feet, not anticipating, not properly processing the defense and reading the defense and what he's seeing and reading the field. Tyreek is gone, brother. You should be knowing there's no safety over top based off what you saw pre-snap. Like, you see the safety come up. You see the safety come up. Watch, the safety moves up right there. And he gets caught flat-footed. You got to make that throw, brother. Now, I know you started your progression to the left side, but you got to know what your reads are. And you got to see that, and you got to let it fly, baby. I mean, McDaniel, again, called a play where we beat the coverage, and again, Huntley missed the throw. This time he totally missed the read. Last game he was throwing back shoulder, underthrowing, and overthrowing when the reads were there. I mean, you got to drop this in the bucket, brother. I don't know what else to say. Instead, he bails off. Now, watch Jonnu, right? Jonnu, what he did, he's running a deep curl with an outside release, and he adjusts his route. Look, he puts his hand up and adjusts his route because he sees Huntley on the move when he gets to the top of the stem of his route, and Huntley just puts too much air under it. Like, that is a tough catch, people. Now, does it hit Jonnu's fingertips? Sure, but that's a tough catch. And it's unfortunate because he had space to get down to the 10 if it was a better throw. Now, you'll see just how high it is here. But this is what I'm talking about with the lack of processing and anticipation with Huntley. Look, he just bails off the spot. That's a tough throw, people. Everyone on Twitter and in my chat was like, "Oh, you should have come down with that." That is not an easy catch by any stretch of the imagination. Look at how high he is and how he had to tilt back. Like, that's a high football. So, that's a high ball. So, after New England, after they punt, because a few plays later after that miss to Jonnu, Aaron Brewer would snap the ball with Huntley being ready to take Miami out of field goal range. So after New England punts on their drive following the Aaron Brewer fiasco, Miami has the ball back, 2nd and 10 after the drive starts with an incompletion to Waddle. I love the design here. Watch this. You got Huntley in the gun, empty backfield because they just motioned out Mozart to watch the bottom of your screen. Watch Mozart and Jonnu Smith. Huntley in the gun, empty backfield, 2x3 receiver set, 11 personnel. New England's in cover 1. Watch at the bottom of your screen. Mostert, watch this. He's going to run a pick route. And that'll rub out the defender while Jonnu is going to come underneath on the out route, and it works to perfection. Look at that. Boom. Because look at what it did. For some reason, I don't know why, but 40 here, the Patriots defender, watch him get caught. Look at him. He's caught flat-footed. Look at him. For some reason, he's watching Mostert engage. And that just gives enough time for us to get up the sideline. That's a great play right there. Nice play call for McDaniel to keep it simple for Huntley and get an easy first down. This drive would also end horribly for Miami with an Austin Jackson false start, wiping a made field goal off the board to be followed by a botched snap by Ferguson on the field goal reattempt. So it's still 7-3 New England. All right. It's 10-3. Now we're at 10-3. Now we are at 10-3. And it is the Miami Dolphins' next drive here. And this is where we start getting to the bread and butter. All right. It's 1st and 10 after a roughing the passer call against Keon White. Bails out the Dolphins offense on a failed 3rd and 6. You got Huntley under center, I formation, 1-by-1 receiver set, 21 personnel from Miami. It's cover 2 for the Patriots. It's going to be a toss to Jalen Wright towards the left side of the field. Look at this. Great job by Julian Hill, Ingold, and Armstead and Rob Jones to steal off their blocks. Look at that lane they create. Look at that lane. Jalen Wright bursts right through it, cuts back, takes on the defender at the top. And, shout out to Wright for that burst that he shows and the patience he shows for waiting for the holes to develop. Great 12-yard pickup. I love these types of runs when you win physically at the point of attack and are rewarded with it with a nice chunk gain on the ground. So now it's 3rd and 8 after Huntley missed a dangerous throw on the move to the back of the right end zone to Tyreek. Huntley's in the gun, empty backfield, 2-by-3 receiver set, trips bunch to the right, 11 personnel, cover 2 for New England. Look at Huntley makes a great throw here to Tyreek on the 9 route up the left sideline, but Tyreek just can't stay in. Yes, it was an incompletion, but this was a great throw from Huntley nonetheless. Game of inches. Miami would kick a field goal to make it 10-6, but this is a great throw. Like, you look at that ball placement, that is a great throw. Tough that Hill couldn't stay in. That was a really good throw by Hundley. Dolphins get the ball back after another 3 and out for New England. It's 2nd and 4 after a right 6-yard run, followed by a Hill completion for 4 yards and a 6-yard Huntley scramble. Hundley under center, I formation, 21 personnel, 2 wide receivers to the right, cover 3 for New England. And watch, here we go, Jalen Wright, baby. The blueprint. All right? It's great vision by Wright on the counter. Watch him. He's going to take the ball here. Watch. It's a counter because he's going to cut back. And look at, he sees that lane on the left side and he hits it and he dashes back to the middle of the field. I mean, you love how he hits those holes with such burst, such conviction. Great vision by Jalen Wright. It's great vision through traffic. And watch when he gets to the top, he shifts back to the middle of the field after he comes out of the lane, and that gets extra yardage for a 17-yard gain. Just really smart running and great blocking. Miami would put a field goal on the board this drive 5 plays later to make it 10-9. But you look at this. Look at that. Look at he sees it, and he cuts back, and then he's up in the middle of the field because he sees the extra yardage because of the angles being taken. That's a really good run and a really strong run by Jalen Wright. Now, New England would punt again after Miami made it 10-9. 1st and 18 after a 7-yard run by Wright to start this drive was negated by an Eichenberg hold. Hundley's under center, I formation, 1-by-1 receiver set with Julian Hill, motioning off to the left side. Motioning off of the left side, Cover 3 for New England here. Watch Hundley. He's going to fake the handoff and deliver a dart to Tyreek on the deep curl. 21 yards. Look at that, right in between the box coverage. This is a great read and throw to pick up the very long first down. Hundley looks a lot more comfortable than he did in week 1. There's no doubt about it. But again, watch his head. This is the first read. All right, you see it right here. Boom. Look at that. Great throw. Great throw. That is like really good stuff. Really impressed by what we saw. Really good stuff. So, he looks a lot more comfortable. There's just no doubt about it. All right, so continuing on here. Next play. But Hundley, that was a good throw. That was a really good throw. All right, after 4 more plays, it's now 2nd and 7 for the Miami Dolphins. Here's the other look. See him reading his wristband right before the snap. Gotta love it. Good throw. Nice decisive throw. All right, continuing on here. Like I said, after 4 more plays, it's now 2nd and 7. All right, for the Miami Dolphins. Hundley in the pistol with Wright. Ingold motions in line. He makes it a 1-by-1 receiver set with Miami and 21 personnel. It's cover 1 for New England. Again, look at the vision by Wright. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. Holy jeez. Now, we're going to look at this again, and this would get called back thanks to a Julian Hill hold because Julian Hill got his hands way too wide on his man. But, you look at this, all right? Look at this again. All right, this is really good stuff from Jalen Wright. Really good. And look at Eichenberg getting a little physical on his pull. Right? Takes his man right there. But look at, boom. Plants the foot hard. And look at the jump cut to the right. Ooh-wee! And then he gets to the top and shifts out and gets up along that right sideline. Great vision. Great burst. He's showing his ability to jump cut the way he is. I mean, he's just so explosive through the holes, and I just can't stress enough how great the vision is from this young kid. It really looks like the game is already slowing down for Jalen Wright. I mean, this is working your way through traffic here. This is not just a wide open lane and just run through it, kid. Look at, cuts off. Look at, he sees it, and the jump cut, boom, through, and look at, and then he makes a man miss. I mean, that is just great running. The acceleration and running out wide right, it's phenomenal stuff. And you appreciate it even more. Look at, oof. Come on. Now, obviously, the problem here is Julian Hill got his hands too wide and it's called for the hold and negate the play. Absolutely brutal, but still, what an impressive run from Wright. Great job by Liam on the pull. Good overall push from the O-line. This is the blueprint, people. This is the blueprint. I'm telling you, Jalen Wright is the blueprint. So 1st and 10 now. After Huntley throws an incompletion to Jonnu Smith, and then Moser draws the defensive pass interference on a throw over the middle. Huntley's under center. I formation. 2 receivers stacked to the right. 21 personnel. Cloud 1-3 look for the Patriots. You're going to have Eichenberg. Well, let's just watch here. Eichenberg's going to overset and give up his gap right there to Wise. And Wright only gets 3 yards, but watch Ingold here. Oh, look at Ingold. Drive his man 10 yards downfield. Look at that. Holy jeez. This is setting the physical presence and tone in the run game, even in a short game. Look at Eichenberg. Come on, bud. This guy's lunging because he missed. Watch Eichenberg. He's going to overset, and it's going to cause him to give up his gap. Look at that. Boom. But look at Ingold. Look at Ingold just driving his man down there with force. Love to see it. 2nd and 7 now. Huntley under center, I formation, 1-by-1 receiver set, 21 personnel for Miami. Single high shell again for New England. It's going to be a toss to the left side. And again, everyone is going to do their job well up front. The lane opens up, and Wright is going to hit it hard and quick with again, look at that speed with that quick cutback. Look at this. Boom, the cutback, and look at the acceleration. Holy jeez, another big, powerful run from Wright. While the guys up front keep showing a physical side to them we haven't seen enough this season. Look at this. Look at the physicality. Boom. And look at the running. Good stuff from Jalen. Look at Jalen puts that shoulder down and pop you. So now it's 2nd and 8 after a 2-yard Mozart run, followed the big gain by Wright. Huntley in the pistol with Mostert. 1 receiver to the left, 2 stacked to the right, but Ingold will motion from the right stack to inline. 21 personnel. Cover 2 for New England here, and they are going to pay. Right off the snap, you're going to watch Brewer and Eichenberg get Gotch off balance right off the snap. And look at that hole form. That's what you saw on the ground, Gotcha there. You see it really right here, right? So Brewer and Eichenberg are going to get Gotcha off balance right off the snap. You see Jackson's going to do enough with EQL. And the lane is going to open up, which Mosert's going to burst right through, and he's to the second level in the blink of an eye. Look at that. Boom. So good job by Jackson and EQL, and good job by Brewer and Eichenberg. 18-yard. This drive is, I'm telling you, and this is another play from this drive. This drive is the blueprint for this offense moving forward if they want to find success with or without Tua in the lineup. It shouldn't matter. You should be running the football and setting this physical tone even with Tua in the lineup. After Moser got 2 yards on a run following his 18-yard gain, is 2nd and 8 at the Patriots 12 with around 5 minutes left in the fourth. Huntley under center. Wright's a single back, 2 wide receivers to the right, 21 personnel, strong protection to the left, cover 0 for the Patriots here. Ingold, he's going to motion to the right. Oh, sorry, hold on here. And You know, if you look at Waddle at the top of the screen, if he keeps his blocking assignment and England can climb to the next defender instead of having to help him out with a chip, this may have been a touchdown for Wright, but England basically was tasked with taking 2 defenders out because Waddle disengages. It's a great job by Tyreek blocking upfield too. But this is how close we were. If England didn't have to help there and could get to the next level and Waddle was clearing that man out, that's a touchdown. But instead, Ingold has to help out Waddle, and it's an 8-yard gain. Ingold would obviously punch it in on the next play to make it 15-10, and the Dolphins would fail to convert the 2 points. But, you know, if Ingold doesn't have to help there, because watch, he's originally engaged with Waddle. If Waddle seals that off and Ingold can just take on 31 Jones, then that's a touchdown. Because look at the blocking on Gonzalez from Tyreek. But Waddle doesn't finish his playoff. So this is the next Patriots drive. It's the 11th play of that drive. Brissett in the gun. Empty backfield. 2x3 wide receiver set. Cover 6, 2-4 for Miami here. Watch Jalen Polk. All right. He's number 1 here. He's a middle receiver out of the trips to the right. He's going to run basically like a sluggo. It looks like a slant at about 3 yards. And then he fires up that seam. See Elijah Campbell here, 22. He's right. He's got his back to you right now. You see the 2. He's above Ramsey. He's going to play with his hips open to the right side of the field, and he's at fault here. Ramsey is going to take his man, but Campbell is going to come in support for some reason, and he's going to be late to read and react Jalen Polk. And thank God Polk can't keep his full foot down, because watch, see? Elijah bails with OBJ's assignment when, brother, you've got a linebacker in Anthony Walker, I believe it is, releasing Polk. You got to be there. That's Elijah Campbell. That's because Javon Holland is out at this point. That is troublesome stuff. So, need Elijah Campbell to be better here instead of taking those false steps to the left. Because you almost got burned, Elijah. Anyways, it was initially called a touchdown. It's reversed. And this would be the closest New England would come to winning, as Miami would finish off with a 15-10 win. It was close. It was close. For sure. But Campbell's got to be better here. That's a big miss by Campbell. Bailed out. Thank God. Thank God we got bailed out. So, that's what the film tells us from week 5, that drive was the blueprint to success moving forward for this team. They've got to continue running the ball, right? A-Chan will probably be back by the time we face the Colts. You get him involved in the pass game and the run game. You got to lean on you got to lean on Wright as the bell cow, and you got to mix in Mostert and A-Chain. You got to find that healthy balance. You got to find that healthy balance. Because, you were seeing, especially on that drive where we scored the touchdown, look at the physical tone this team was setting. Ingold out here driving guys 10 yards down the field. Eichenberg, who had not a good game up until that drive, was really struggling. And that's the type of stuff you're going to need to see to change your fortune in December and January. That's the way you are going to change those outcomes, is if you can run the football consistently like that. And you're going to make the quarterback's job much easier. I mean, we went from a bunch of too high stuff last week that we were mainly seeing against Tyler Huntley to this week. A lot more cover 1, some cover 3 mixed in there, and they were beating they were still running against the single high shells and still gashing them. So you're going to be able to keep the coverage a lot more honest too when Tua returns if you can establish this run game. You've laid the blueprint out. You've seen what works. You've got to stick with this. You've got to make this part of your offensive identity. Especially when Tua comes back. Because it'll make everyone's life easier. I'm just saying. Like, you know, I'm just putting it out there. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if they can continue to do that. Guys, this video, it is sponsored by BetUS. Go over to betus.com. All the early lines, the point spread and the money lines are open. The total lines are open for the games this week. It's the bye week, so it's a fantasy and gambling type of week for us Dolphin fans. Go make some money this weekend. Use code YouTube150. That's YouTube150. Get 150% deposit match on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. And shout out to BetUS for being our sponsor. Guys, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. I'll be back tomorrow night with Richmond and Ball Game for the finish line. Then on Thursday for Fin Too Deep. Then I got a special show this weekend coming. And a lot more content in the works. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring. Smash that like button. Fins up. And I'll see y'all in the next one.